Hare Krishna. Hare Bom. Hare Krishna. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vamachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Bihari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Madhava, Radha Madhava, Shri Radhe. Jaya Radha Madhava, Radha Madhava, Shri Radhe. Shri Radha Madhava ki jai, Srila Prabhupada Jagadguru ki jai, Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Gaura Premanande. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Janmadhyasya yatonvayaditaratash Chadhirshabhigyatsvarat Tene Brahma Hridaya Dikavaye Muhyanti Yatsuraya Tejo Varim Ridam Yatha Vinimayo Yatratri Sargom Risha Dhamna Sena Sadanirasta Kuhakam Satyam Param Dhimahi Dharma Prochita Kaitavotra Paramo Nirmatsaranam Satam Vidyam Vastavam Astravastu Shivadam Tapatrayon Mulanam Srimad Bhagavate Mahamunikrite Kim Va Parairishvara Sadyo Hridyavarutye Prakritibhih Shushrusubhistat Kshanat Nigamakaupataror Galitam Pharam Shukhamupadam Rita Drava Samyutam Pibata Bhagavatam Rasamavayam Muhur Ahorasika Bhu Vibhavuka. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Cheva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashta Prayesha Badrishu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Ruttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtiki. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, The Science of God, Chapter 13, text number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Chapter 13, the behavior of a perfect. The behavior of a perfect person. This 13th chapter describes the regulative principles for sannyasis and also describes the history of avadhuta. It concludes with a description of perfection for the student in spiritual advancement. Sri Narada Muni has been describing the symptoms of various ashramas and varnas. Now, in this chapter, he specifically describes the regulative principles for the followed to be followed by sannyasis. After retiring from family life, one should accept the status of vanaprastha, in which he must formally accept the body as his means for existence, but gradually forget the bodily necessities of life. After vanaprastha life, having left home, one should travel to different places as a sannyasi. Without bodily comforts and free from dependence on anyone, with respect to bodily necessities, one should travel everywhere wearing almost nothing or actually walking naked. Without association with ordinary human society, one should beg alms and always be satisfied in himself. One should be a friend to every living entity and be very peaceful in Krishna consciousness. A sannyasi should travel alone in this way, not caring for life or death, waiting for the time when he will leave his material body. He should not indulge in unnecessary books or adopt professions like astrology, nor should he try to become a great orator. He should also give up the path of unnecessary argument and should be not depend on anyone under any circumstances. He should not try to allure people into becoming his disciples just so that the number of his disciples may increase. He should give up the habit of reading many books as a means of livelihood, and he should not attempt to increase the number of temples and madhas or monasteries. When a sannyasi thus becomes completely independent, peaceful, and equipoised, he can select the destination he desires after death and follow the principles by which to reach that destination. Although fully learned, he should always remain silent like a dumb person and travel like a restless child. In this regard, Narada Muni described a meeting between Prahlada and a saintly person who had adopted the mood of life as a piton. In this way, he described the symptoms of Paramahamsa. A person who has attained the Paramahamsa stage knows very well the distinction between matter and spirit. He is not at all interested in gratifying the material senses, for he is always deriving pleasure from devotional service to the Lord. He is not very anxious to protect his material body, being satisfied with whatever he attains by the grace of the Lord. He is completely independent of material happiness and distress, and thus he is transcendental to all regulative principles. Sometimes he accepts severe austerities, and sometimes he accepts material opulence. His only concern is to satisfy Krishna, and for that purpose he can do anything and everything without reference to the regulative principles. He is never to be equated with materialistic men, nor is he subject to the judgments of such men. The end of 13th chapter description. Text number 1. Shri Narada Vacha Kalpastvavam Parivraja Dehamatra Vasheshitaha Gramaika Vihina Nirapekshas Charen Mahim. Shri Narada Muni said, a person able to cultivate spiritual knowledge should renounce all material connections and merely keeping the body inhabitable, he should travel from one place to another, passing only one night in each village. In this way, without dependence in regard to the needs of the body, the sannyasi should travel all over the world. He should travel from one place to another, passing only one night in each village. Text number 2. Bibhryat yadyashau vasaham kaupinachhadam kaupinachhadanam param tyaktam malingat dandader anyat kinchit anapadi. Translation. A person in a renounced order of life may try to avoid even a dress to cover himself. If he wears anything at all, it should be only a loincloth, and then there is no necessity. A sannyasi should not even accept a danda. A sannyasi should avoid carrying anything but a danda and kamandao. A sannyasi should not even accept a danda. Text number 3. Eka eva karit bhikshur atmaramo napashrayaham sarvabhuta Suhrichanto Narayana Parayanaha. Translation. The sannyasi, completely satisfied in the self, should live on alms begged from door to door. Not being dependent on any person or any place, he should always be a friendly well-wisher to all living beings and be a peaceful, unalloyed devotee of Narayana. In this way, he should move from one place to another. Text number 4. Pashyet atmanyado vishvam pare sada sato vyaye atmanam cha param brahma sarvatra sadasammaye. Translation. The sannyasi should always try to see the Supreme pervading everything and see everything including this universe resting on the Supreme. Text number 5. Supti Prabodhayoho Sandhav Supti Prabodhayo Sandhav Supti Prabodhayo Sandhav Atmano Gatim Atmadrik Atmano Gatim Atmadrik Atmano Gatim Atmadrik Pashyan Bandham Cha Moksham Cha Pashyan Bandham Cha Moksham Cha Pashyan Bandham Cha Moksham Cha Maya Matram Na Vastutaha Maya Matram Na Vastutaha Maya Matram Na Vastutaha Supti Prabodhayok Sandhav Atmano Gatim Atmadrik Pashyam Bandham Cha Moksham Cha Maya Matram Cha Vastutaha Supti Prabodhayok Sandhav Atmano Gatim Atmadrik Pashyam Bandham Cha Moksham Cha Maya Matram Cha Vastutaha. Somebody want to recite? Supti Prabodhayok Sandhav Atmano Gatim Atmadrik Maya Matram Cha Vastutaha. Translation. Supti, in the state of unconsciousness. Prabodhayok, and in the state of consciousness. Sandhav, in the state of marginal existence. Atmanaha, of oneself. Gatim, the movement. Atmadrik, one who can actually see the self. Pashyan, always trying to see or understand. Bandham, the conditional state of life. Cha, and Moksham, the liberated state of life. Cha, also. Maya Matram, only illusion. Na, not. Vastutaha, in fact. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. During unconsciousness and consciousness, and between the two, he should try to understand the self and be fully situated in the self. In this way, he should realize that the conditional and liberated stages of life are only illusory and not actually factual. With such a higher understanding, he should see only the absolute truth pervading everything. Please repeat. During unconsciousness and consciousness, and between the two, he should try to understand the self and be fully situated in the self. In this way, he should realize that the conditional and liberated stages of life are only illusory and not actually factual. With such a higher understanding, he should see only the absolute truth pervading everything. Purport. The unconscious state is nothing but ignorance, darkness, or material existence. And in the conscious state, one is awake. The marginal state between consciousness and unconsciousness has no permanent existence. Therefore, one who is advanced in understanding the self should understand that unconsciousness and consciousness are but illusions, for they fundamentally do not exist. Only the Supreme Absolute Truth exists, as confirmed by the Lord in Bhagavad Gita 9.4. Maya tatam idam sarvam jagat avyakta murtina matsthani sarva bhutani nachaham teshravasthitaha. By me, in my unmanifested form, this entire universe is pervaded. All beings are in me, but I am not in them. Everything exists on the basis of Krishna's impersonal feature. Nothing can exist without Krishna. Therefore, the advanced devotee of Krishna can see the Lord everywhere without illusion. The end of purport. First of all, I want to pay my most humble respectful obeisances to Spiritual Master, who opened my eyes with the torch of knowledge and bring from the darkness of ignorance. Om Jnana Timiram Dasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. When Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada, who has established within this material world the mission to fulfill the desire of Lord Chaitanya, gives me shelter under his lotus feet. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kantam Radha Kanta Namostute. O my dear Krishna, you are the friend of the distressed and the source of creation. You are the master of the gopis and the lover of Radharani. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priya. I offer my respects to Radharani, whose bodily complexion is like molten gold and who is the queen of Vrindavana. You are the daughter of King Vrishabhanu, and you are very dear to Lord Krishna. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavibhyo namo namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord. They can fulfill the desires of everyone, just like a desired trees, and they are full of compassion for the fallen souls. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara, Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Mukam Karoti Vachavam Pangum Vangayate Girim, Yat Kripatamaham Vande, Shri Gurum Dinataranam. Hare Krishna. In this this chapter describes very interesting story about Paramahamsa who was lying like a python, and Prahlada Maharaj met him in a forest. It's a very nice story, and when first time I had heard that, I think it looks a little bit strange with material point of view. So that looks like some lazy person, he just do nothing, lies in the forest, and everything comes to him. And that snake python also, how it find the food. The rabbit is walking around, and by his meditation he has so much siddhi and power in his with his meditation and patience and calmness. Then when this rabbit see the eyes, the view of this python, it became totally stuck, and then naturally it comes to the mouth of python, so python easily catches him. I heard like this. I didn't check whether it is scientific or not, but still the idea is like this describing here. So this chapter is dedicated to sannyasi order of life. And generally we know that sannyasi do not stay more than 3 days in each place. But here Narada Muni says that only 1 day. Passing only 1 night in each village. So that means a person, why it is described only 1 day or 3 days? Because when you stay just 3 days, you cannot be much attached to the local people and the place. But when you stay more than that, and we had experienced that many times during traveling Sankirtana, when we stay just 2-3 days, that's okay. But when you stay more, you became more mingled with that place. That you already know where is everything, how is when you go to sleep. So you feel more comfort and more mingling. It's a subtle thing, but you became attached to the things, and you start to do with your comfort. You start to develop increase your comfortness. So, but when you travel within only 1 or 2 days in each place, I had that experience also. Number of months I was traveling in Asia, and each day I just, you wake up and you see, and first few seconds you try to understand where are you, what is happening, and then slowly conscious come to you, memory come to you, then you understand, okay, I'm here, yesterday I was covered this much of distance, so I came suddenly into that place, and now I'm here. So when you open your eyes, you should become to the consciousness for a few seconds. And that gives you kind of an attachment to the material things. The most important thing is that Srila Prabhupada gave a purport to the idea that during unconsciousness and consciousness, and between the two, he should try to understand the self and be fully situated in the self. What does it mean? Soul, Atma, it doesn't relate it to conscious or unconscious state of mind. Sometimes we can experience that I am fully in Maya, and sometimes we have a spark of kind of consciousness. So we think, oh, some spiritual energy is influencing me. I have a pure view of the things. For me, it happens when listening Srimad Bhagavatam. Something changes, so that material point of view changes to reflected spiritual Shastra Chakshu. You start to see the things as per Shastras describes that, through the lecture. So when you hear someone, and especially when Srimad Bhagavatam class, proper time, everything, for me it's like this. So, unconsciously I try to catch this state of mind and remain it, keep it. But what Narada Muni says here, that Atmarama, who realized himself as an Atma, he does not depend on these states, like whether he is conscious or unconscious or between two, he is Atmarama. He gets the satisfaction within the heart. And what is that state of mind? Is a state of mind of Brahma Bhuta, ones who realized Brahman. At least in this level, a person can understand his as Atma. That means no duality. When you don't understand self as an Atma, you consider self as a gross or subtle body, that means always you have duality. Conscious, unconscious, bad, good, time or moment, distance or no distance, sukha, dukkha, so many duality. It's like a flower. There is a seed, is nothing, but when flower is coming, there are two leaves, then again two leaves, two leaves, two leaves. Like this duality comes. And actually this is not only duality, there are three gunas, and the combination of them makes the varieties of the colors, and different this Bahushaka increases. There is a nice verse in Bhagavad Gita, Yavasayatmika Budhira Kehu Kurunandana Bahushakya Kanantascha Budhair Yavasayanam. It's very connected to this topic. This is 241, yes. Those who are in this path are resolute in purpose, and their aim is one. O beloved child of the Kurus, the intelligence of those who are irresolute is many branched. So that means Vyavasayatmika Budhir, ones who realized, who has a Krishna consciousness, who at least realized himself as an Atma, Aham Brahmasmi. That person has the Vyavasaya Atmika Budhir, so he is focused only Ekeha Kurunanda, Eka Iha Kurunandana. So he has only one target of meditation. He focused on one thing. But Bahushaka, many branches, has ones who has Avyavasayanam, who has not in Krishna consciousness or in one particular point. And why this happens? Because other verses here that Трайгуня Вишая Веда, Нистрайгуня Баварджуна, Нирдвандва Нитya Satvastho, Niryoga Kshema Atvanam. The Vedas deal mainly with the subject of the three moods of material nature. O Arjuna, become transcendental to these three moods. Be free from all dualities and from all anxieties for gain and safety, and be established in the self. The same point Krishna says to Arjuna. So be established in the self. Because the Vedas, I heard that 99% of the Vedas, they described Karma Kanda, and only one point related to the Bhakti. That means Vedas are so vast, and the aim of Vedas actually to describe Krishna or Narayana. But because there are so many things. The varieties of gunas are so great. So to describe all of them for liberate the person, it's very greatly processed. So the big vast of Vedas came, and this place is planet Earth is more in Rajaguna. Rajaguna means karma. That means activities. That means people want to elevate their existence. They want to go to heavenly planets to increase sense gratification, and that means karma kanda. So through that process, one should be liberated. So Vedas mostly describe the karma kanda, and only very few, very small amount of that 1% is about bhakti, about Krishna himself, about the final point. Actually, this is equal to the present position. Krishna says, Manushanam Sahasrishu. So among thousands of the people, only one will be inquiring about who is he, absolute truth. Among that inquiring, thousands of inquiring, only one may understand that absolute truth. And among these thousands, only one can understand that Krishna is that person. So there is also a very nice verse that here also in Bhagavad Gita. Yes, men of small knowledge are very much attached to the flowery words of the Vedas. So because they describe many things, flowery words of the Vedas, Krishna says, which recommended various fruitive activities for elevation to heavenly planets, resultant good birth, power, and so forth. Being desirous of sense gratification and opulent life, they say that there is nothing more than this. So this is the philosophy of modern people. Just sense gratification, good birth, power, and so forth, and there is nothing more than this. So people want to enjoy the senses and don't want to inquire about absolute truth. But Srila Prabhupada, our teaching is Srila Prabhupada that gives us that actually we are even not a sannyasi. Because what is described here, sannyasi is one who is Atmarama, he realized himself. So he doesn't depend on food or cloth or place. He is absolutely independent. He is like Paramahamsa, wandering here and there, and he is Atmarama. He gets satisfaction from within. But our point is not this, because this is the level of Brahman that describes here. But we are even not satisfied to realize Paramatma. We need the Bhagavan. And who is Bhagavan? Bhagavan, we discuss in Srimad Bhagavatam. Bhagavan means Bhagya, means opulence. One means one who has opulence. So this is Krishna. And Bhagavan includes Paramatma and Brahman also. Ananda is quality of Bhagavan, Sachitananda, three of them, especially Ananda. Brahma is only Sat, eternity, and Paramatma is Sat and Chit, eternity and knowledge. So our aim, our goal is Krishna, Bhagavan. So that means actually we are not, our aim is not to become a sannyasi. Our aim is to become Gopi Bhartu Pada Kamalayor Dasa Dasa Anudasa. Naham Vipro Nacha Patir Nati Vaishya Na Shudro. I am not a Brahmana, not a Kshatriya, not a Vaishya, not a Shudra, not Brahmachari, Grihastha, Praska or sannyasi. I am servant of the master of the gopis. Gopi Bhartu Pada Kamalayor, of his lotus feet. So Krishna is beautiful, and we are servants of Krishna, and we have great opportunity to discuss the words of Krishna something that his Mahaprasadam, that comes from his mouth actually. This is Bhagavad Gita. And Srimad Bhagavatam also, this is Rasam Alayam. This is very sweet part of the Vedas, very sweet narration of devotees of Krishna. And actually here Krishna also speaks in some places. Krishna speaks to Uddhava, and we can see many pastimes about Krishna himself in 10th canto. So the final aim of Srimad Bhagavatam is to increase our attraction to Krishna. And Srila Prabhupada says that it is like a sweet candy. You may start to enjoy it from any places, and wherever page, wherever canto you open, it will be very sweet. But to get proper understanding, especially elevated topics like 10th canto, you should gradually read canto by canto. And it is compared with the body, like first, second canto is like a feet, then third, fourth, fifth is like a more elevated, like knees and thighs and hands and chest, and then comes to the mouth, to the smile of Krishna as a 10th canto. So our aim is to be attracted by Krishna and to glorify Krishna, and to understand our positions, who we are. We are partial parts of God, and that verse Srila Prabhupada mentions here, Maya tatam idam sarvam, jagata vyakta murtina, matthani sarabhutani, nachaham teshva avasthitaha. By me, in my unmanifested form, this entire universe is pervaded. All beings are in me, but I am not in them. So, if we reach this point that we start to see Krishna everywhere, then our life will be sublime and successful. And also, in one of the purports of the end of 2nd chapter, when Arjuna asked Krishna, please Krishna, let me know, how can I see that kind of person who is liberated? Then Arjuna asked, what is he thinking about, what he says, how he moves, and how he sits, what is his activities. And Srila Prabhupada in one of the purports says that person may look as a very educated, and he may have PhD and many great things, titles and diplomas. But when he opened his mouth, we may immediately understand what is in his mind. So, if one speaks about Krishna, if his heart is fulfilled with Krishna, and Krishna catched his heart, so naturally that person think and speak only about something that related to Krishna. But if a person speaks some other topics, that means still he is in a purifying process. Actually, all of us are pure souls, and that means soul is never contaminated. It's never actually it's never mixed with matter. That soul is ever independent. Najayate mriyate vagadachin nayam bhutva bhavitam vanabhuyah ajonitya shashvatayam parano nahanyate hanyamane sharira. So it's not related to the body. But as we are practicing bhakti yoga, Srila Prabhupada says we are like under the shower. So we should consider everyone as already cleaned, but at least he is in the process. So gradually, that each and every person already accept Krishna consciousness, and only this is a matter of time when he became totally pure. So I am very grateful to have an opportunity to be in the society of purifying and pure souls who are practicing Krishna consciousness, and gives an example, gives inspiration for that process. And this is the perfection of life, to be in sadhu sangha. Thank you very much for you tolerating me. Hare Krishna. So, Krishna is God. Mahamantra is our process of purification, and this is process and goal itself. Srila Prabhupada is our founder Acharya, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Kali Yuga Avatara, Karuna Avatara, who gave us this wonderful process of chanting holy names, Shri Harinama Sankirtana Yagya. Harir Nama, Harir Nama, Harir Nama Eva Kevalam, Kalau Nastyeva, 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 Gatiran Yadha. Nama Vinu Kali Kali, Natyarat Harma, Sarva Mantra Saradam, Ei Shastra Marma. Hare Krishna. Any questions, comments, or something? Hare Krishna. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Sadhu Sangha ki jai. Hare Krishna.